Most of you know Kath and I have the All-In Team Foundation, and it's been a lot of fun the last couple of years, really. Hopefully making a difference in a lot of different areas. And our All-In Ball is the night before the spring game. This year it's April 13th from 7 to 10 at the Madrim Center right here on campus. And it's been a lot of fun the last couple of years. We'll have a lot of special guests there, and it's just we'll have some entertainment. We even have a couple of our players that are going to perform this year, so it should be a lot of fun. And we've got a lot of former players and current NFL guys that will be there. A lot of great auction items, a lot of great prizes. Just a good night of fellowship and fun. It really has been a fun night in the last couple of years. So hopefully we'll have a great turnout. If you're interested in registering, you can go to the website dabosallinteam.com, and you can register online and find out a little bit more about it. But hopefully we'll see a lot of people there. You can have an opportunity to be the honorary coach for the spring game on the next day. So
give you much preparation time.
Well, we'll get it done on the fly.
Expect you to stall an offense.
It'll be a lot of fun. So. Larry, this will be your chance right here, man. You just to coach the game on Saturday. You come call some plays.
You can second guess me.
That's right. That's right. I'll write the article. I'll run the press conference. It'll be a lot of fun. So, Larry, tell me, what do you think? No, it'll be fun. But it's been a great time, and we got some interesting people that'll be there. And next year, I've already got Jim Kelly committed. He's gonna be the guest speaker next year. So fired up about that. But there'll be a lot of good folks there this year.
The players who are going to perform, do you have to see their act before they?
No, I'm pretty familiar with what it's going to be, and this will be really good. It's going to be Darius Robinson and Martin Jenkins. They're going to perform their All-In song, and so they're fired up about that. And we've got another couple entertainment segments that'll be built into it. As well. So, and then we've got a pretty neat guest speaker that I can't publicize, but we'll be a part of it too. So, it should be fun. With that, I'll take whatever questions you got.
We haven't had a practice since you talked to them last, but we got the banquet today with the.
Scrimmage, just some comments on that, from the other day after, watching the tape and everything. It was a good first scrimmage, just kind of what my gut feel was walking off the practice field. And again, sometimes maybe a particular segment doesn't perform quite as well, but from, my view, there was a lot of success on both sides and some failures, but a good competitive day. I mean, I think we got a lot of guys that, we've got to challenge a little bit, to continue to improve them. We had a few guys with some lows and things like that for a first scrimmage that you got to coach them through that off of the tape. But a lot of good things on both sides. Our kicking game is very solid. Catanzaro is coming off an all-conference year and has just been tremendous all spring. I wouldn't say it the other day, but I'll say it now after the scrimmage. The guy had missed a kick. He had missed one all spring. Not one competitive kick. Not one. So he's just been on the money, and then we really challenged him in the scrimmage the other day, and he hit every one of them. So he's had a great spring and been very consistent. I'm very pleased with Benton and Pinion as far as the competition that we have there at punter. Spencer has really dialed in and is really focused on trying to be good at one thing, and he's also holding for us, and kicking off. But he really, the punting, he's not really doing any kicking, field goal kicking. It's been all punt work. And Pinion it's really obvious that he's a pretty special talent. So I'm excited about him, and he's also working as a kickoff guy. We work some live special team stuff, punt, kickoff coverage, kick return, punt return, field goals. We did everything live the other day. For the first time, so that was good to see. And then offensively, we did some good things up front with our young guys. Kalen Davis is a guy we got to continue to bring along. For that first group, he really has to further commit to get up with those other guys. The guy that I'm really pleased with is Gift Timothy. I mean, very encouraged with where he is. You know, it's just one of those reminders again when you coach. I mean, he wasn't very good as a redshirt guy, and he wasn't very good last year as a redshirt freshman, but now all of a sudden you're hitting that third year, and just the maturity, the confidence, the change of his body in the weight room and conditioning and all that stuff. And he has been very consistent. Really pleased with him. Joe Gore as well, and so I think we're starting to develop some flexibility at the tackle position. Shaq Anthony, I thought, had his best day Saturday. He's still not quite where we need him to be, to where we'd say, hey, he's ready to go play, but he's making progress, and that was good to see on his part Saturday. But Kalen is a guy right now that has had a good spring and has done some good things, but he's a guy we got to kind of really push because he's very talented. He's got all the skills. David Beasley is another guy who I'm encouraged. He's going to have to really further commit in the off season from a physical standpoint, as far as continuing to get in a little better shape. He's made a lot of progress, but he's still got a little work to do. Same thing with Spencer Regent, because those guys can help us. Reed Webster has been solid. I think he'll be in a position to be a contributor for us. Brandon Thomas has really had a good spring, and so that's good to see. And then Dalton and Shatley, you know, those are two guys that you know, I'm really excited about. So it's coming together up front. We had some MAs, but all correctable type things. Taj had a good day. Couple of mental mistakes, but not many. Made his reads. You know, ran the ball very well the other day, and then Cole Stout showed back up. You know, I thought somebody had kidnapped him and having an out-of-body experience for a few practices there, but he really had his best day Saturday. And we made the quarterbacks alive, a little bit different. We made those guys alive, with the exception of Taj. Made them all live, and I think that was good for those guys from a competitive standpoint, but it was also good for our defense, you know, and in finishing plays and tackling and all that kind of stuff. So defensively, we're a work in progress up front. We did not have Malachi. That hurt us the other day, but Corey Crawford is going to be a really good player. He's not a great player yet, but he can be. Vic Beasley has the talent and the skill set. You know, we've got to continue to push him, but I think he can help us. Got a ways to go with Dodd and Byers right now, but certainly there's some promise there. And then you know, the four guys inside, Tavares and Grady and Sean and Josh Watson, are all competing very hard, and I think all those guys will be able to win for us. You know, by the time we get ready to play, still got a long way to go with those guys. Tavares is also a guy that can bump out and play some end for us if we need him to, of those guys inside. So linebackers, you know, I think we're making a lot of progress there. Stefan can be outstanding. Still developing, still challenging him to be the impactful kind of guy that he can be. I thought Tig Willard kind of separated a little bit Saturday. Did an excellent job. Carrico is Carrico. He's steady, he's solid, he's fundamental. He's got good instincts. You know, Quandon is a guy right now that's got all this talent, but we're just not quite getting it out of him. And so that's something that's a little bit frustrating right now, because we know he's a good player, but he could be a great player. And you know, that's the challenge we have as coaches in pushing him. Justin Parker, you know, Brent's really excited about him. Really likes his upside. He thinks he's fluid, great instincts, feels like he can play any of the three positions, which is very encouraging, because you know, we certainly you know, need Justin to come on and be the kind of guy we all hoped he could be. Shuey having a very solid spring, and I think he's a more than capable winner for us in there. And Latique Townsend is a guy that has everybody's attention. We've got to find ways to do things that he's ready to do right now. He's got a lot to learn about the game, the defense, and all that stuff. But we need to find a way to take his strengths and take advantage of them because he can help us. As he is a football player, he's a contact player. We just got a lot of technique to teach him and things like that. So, but he's a guy right now that's kind of on everybody's radar from a defensive standpoint. Our secondary, I thought, performed very well Saturday. They were where they were supposed to be. Their eyes were where they were supposed to be. They competed on balls. We created a couple of turnovers, but not a lot of busts or anything like that. We had a couple of plays we got out competed for, but they were in good position. And so I thought from that standpoint, our secondary had a really good day. But we still got some of those young guys we got to bring along, and Travis Blanks has probably been as consistent a guy as we've had, and here's a true freshman coming in here. We're really pleased with what we've seen out of Travis, his potential to help this football team. I think it's important to him. He studies the game. He's very hard on himself, but he gets better every single day. And so defensively, I thought it was a very good first scrimmage, and we want to continue to eliminate some pre-snap issues. We got to have a little more pre-snap urgency, low pad level, continuing to be the physical team that we want us to be. But for a first scrimmage, I thought it was a good start.
And in the previous 10 minutes you just spoke, every time you used the word Saturday, changed to Monday.
Monday, whatever. It's yep, that's just a habit.
When do you guys scrimmage next?
We'll go Monday. Today will be a teach practice. Friday will be a half practice, half scrimmage type of deal, and then we'll have another full scrimmage on Monday. You can only have 3, and one of them is a spring game, so we'll have the second big one next Monday. So we got a lot between now and next week, hopefully, or next Monday. Hopefully we can really get some guys coached up from this tape, from some of the mistakes, and then the installation is pretty much going to stop offensively, especially for the guys up front. We might do a few little wrinkles with some of the skill guys, but the install up front, we're done. So it's just going to be repetition, and really focus on the fundamentals and the technique of what we're trying to do up front, and really build a good foundation for them to take in the summer to get better. Because a guy like Shatley, for example, I mean, he is tough, he's physical, he's strong, he's smart. He's got, he has really changed that room in there, as far as a bunch of young guys, to giving you another veteran guy in that room to go with Dalton and Brandon, which has helped a ton. But he's got to technically improve. Just footwork and hand placement and tight hands and his eyes and things like that he'll have to really work on his own this summer with those other players. So those are the things that we're going to really work hard on the rest of the spring ball. Because now it's not as much scheme. I mean, they know, here's what we're doing. There's not going to be anything added to those guys up front. We want them to really hone in and get good at what we're doing, and then carry that into the summer.
Did you get that schedule last year?
What's that?
Were you able to do that last year?
Well, last year we were just a little slower from an install. We were just able to do more this spring. I mean, this spring has been these guys just further along. I mean, they know more of the package. Last year it was, these are the formations. Here's how we call the runs. Here's the cadence, and just literally going at a snail pace. As they processed it, you had a quarterback who was trying to figure it all out. So now it's just been a different deal from that standpoint. Even the guys who hadn't played much, they went through spring last year. They went through fall camp. They were in meetings. They just know more. So we were able to go at a little faster pace this spring.
When you talk about Saturday and Monday, can you talk about the thought process of giving these guys Saturdays off in the spring?
Yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, I never really thought about it. Never really even crossed my mind. I mean, for 4 years in being in college football as a player and a coach, I mean, I always practice on Saturday. I mean, just what you did, and I just never really thought about it. And that was actually one of the things that was interesting about the way they do things out at Oklahoma State. When we go out there, and that's why you go and you visit, and sometimes you learn new things or things that catch your attention, and you think about it, and you talk about it as a staff. And they never practice on Saturdays at Oklahoma State. And and our question was, well, why? Because again, I just hadn't really ever thought about it. And Mike made a good point to me. He was like, well, listen, do you ever just sit down and just count up how many weekends your coaches and your players don't have something that they're doing, that they're not involved with something, and when you look at it, there's very few weekends that you're not doing something. And so now you're in the spring, you're not preparing for a game. He said, so we just made a decision that we're going to go hard on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. It's really made our Friday practices great. He said, because what happens is you come in here, especially as a coach, you're here at 6:37 on Saturday morning. You get it by the time you get done, it's 5 o'clock, and it becomes almost of a grind that standpoint. And then you look up and you've missed all these weekends, and your players hardly ever get any weekends off. So he said that was the big thing behind it for us. We kind of talked about it and was like, what, let's try that. And the players, in discussing it with our leadership group, they're like, absolutely, we'd love to do that. And so it should be about the players and just trying to do things to get better. And I thought that was just one of those interesting things. Here's a team that has had a ton of success, and I was like, that's something that maybe we ought to look at. So that's why we tweaked the schedule, and we had already moved it back. We'd already moved it back a week anyway for Brent to try to have enough time, and we were going to actually take a couple of Mondays off, not practice. And so we just switched the days, and it's been really good. It's good for the coaches to be able to, at the end of the day, your dads, your husbands, you wear a lot of hats, and sometimes you have conflict between your multiple identities that you have, and so it just is an opportunity for wives to be able to plan things, dads to be able to do things on a Saturday, and then also for our players. That's the biggest reason, just to because it's not like we're in a rush. We can get it done. We have the time, so. We'll have that opportunity again this Saturday, and this is going to be really good. And it's going to allow our guys to really, get with their families on Easter. Otherwise, you're practicing all day Saturday, and it's hard to do that. So I think it's a good thing. We'll talk about it after spring, and maybe something that we do again next spring.
I think linebackers under Brett in his system are more vertical, more downhill, more often than maybe previously.
Well, it's a little simpler what we're asking them to do, and I think. When things are a little simpler, they can, hopefully play a little faster, a little more instinctive, be a little bit more downhill because they're not hesitant, and that's a little bit of what we were trying to do. We wanted to try to simplify just a little bit, and Brent has done a good job with that and taking what we've done really well and taking things that he's very comfortable with and kind of bringing it together. But the biggest thing, the bottom line is knowledge, just guys knowing what they're doing. I mean, you can't play fast, you can't play physical, you can't play downhill if you're hesitant. And a lot of that goes back to pre-snap. And so that's still something we gotta work on. Our guys get stressed to the nth degree against our offense. Nobody's going to stress them anymore. So it's a good challenge for them. Like the Saturday, we ran a bunch of plays in a fast-paced amount of time. It's probably as good a tempo as we've had from a scrimmage standpoint offensively. Well, the flip side of that is it challenged your defense. Pre-snap communication, alignment, recognition, getting set, all that type of stuff. And so, if it's real complicated, then there's a little bit of hesitancy built in there. And I've just seen them playing a little faster, a little bit more confident. And again, that's why I really felt like it was probably one of our better first scrimmages, because I anticipated that our defense, everybody off the field, first time scrimmaging, and the pace that I knew that they were going to go on offense, I really felt like that we might have had some alignment issues or some things like that, maybe people that kind of out of position. But for the most part, it was pretty solid with our first group in particular, pretty solid.
All set.
Well, with the Chandler, it's like a different.
Cat and Zero?
Yeah, it's like a totally different offseason for him last year. Have you seen that difference, confidence-wise, with him?
He's confident. I mean, he's a all-conference kicker. He went from a GOAT to a hero, and he's an all-conference kicker now, and he's made huge kicks. And it's just all. That's why if you got to make a living playing freshman every year, you're probably not going to survive very often. I mean, occasionally you'll get a Sammy Watkins or two, but most of the time, freshmen or Stephon, most of the time they're just not quite ready. I mean, they not for a big role. In Cat and Zero, I mean, that's starting quarterback. That's a big role because you're running out there and there's 85,000 people, and it's game on the line, and you're on the road or whatever it is, and he just and then it wasn't all him, and there was just the battery. We had snap or hold. I mean, we had a lot of things. But that whole year, and then every game came, and not only that, but the type of team we were, we really needed to be a good field goal team, and it seemed like every game came down to a kick. And so then the pressure and the mental part of it and all that. But I think all that experience has helped him have the year he had last year and to have the kind of spring he's having. I mean, he just knows he's going to make it. And if he does miss one, he's like, oh, okay, I'll correct that. And he'll correct it. I mean, so we've got a weapon right there. I'm really excited that we've got Cat and Zero for a couple more years. And Ammon Lacob's going to be really good, too. I mean, it's allowed us to bring him along at kind of a normal, natural progression and develop him and put him out there when he's ready. So I'm really pleased with Chandler. And he's one of those guys that, in my opinion, is a football player. And he's not just a kicker. I mean, he's got a football player mentality, and I think that really helps him.
All set. Let's bring the linebackers on.
All right.